Hello and welcome to Revsportz. India just finished practicing at the Ambassador Cruise Line ground in Essex, just behind me. And it was an absolutely fruitful practice session. It started off with a little warm up, and then a very interesting game was played, or rather, a catching drill was done. There was water balloons used and catches given. So then the fielder had to take the catch, knowing it very well that if you have hard hands, then then of course the balloon will burst on you, and it did happen quite a few times. In fact, Smriti Mandana had water all over her sunglasses as well when she kept the shades out. But it was super fun. The girls were enjoying. And in the end, if you see in the visuals, I'll tell you, in the end, something very funny happened. Of course, all of us know that Shafali Verma and Renuka Singh Thakur are very good friends. So a few water balloons were still left even after the drills were over, and the girls, typically like kids, they were running around each other, throwing the water balloons at each other. A fun atmosphere, and Renuka had a water balloon, in spite of Shafali and Smriti being the first ones to run away from the crowd, which was having this water balloon game of theirs. Well, Renuka caught up to Shafali, and even after Shafali saying not to throw it to her because she is apparently not well or something, Renuka did throw the water balloon on Shafali. Shafali waited for her revenge, and if you see in the visual, she was drinking water. Renuka actually was expecting her to throw that water, but then she said, "No, I'm drinking the water. I'm not going to throw it on you." And then then Renuka was obviously not looking at her and doing her own thing. Shafali threw the water on her just for revenge. But that was that. After a fun catching drill, there was a shift, and Smriti Mandana, along with Fruitful Mali, came out in the nets and batted first. In the other net, there was the bowlers, there were the tail enders who were batting one by one. There was also Richa and there was also Richa and Harmanpreet who batted in the other net. That was a little far away, and we were not allowed to go to that side. So this side of the net, first it was Smriti Mandana and Fruitful Mali who batted, and then it was Deepti Sharma and Shafali Verma who batted. In between, of course, Radha Yadav was practicing length bowling right there in front. And interestingly, Yastika was practicing catching without the wicket-keeping gloves. She was not only practicing catching, she was also practicing fielding. So we might see Yastika playing, and of course if Yastika plays, that clearly shows that Richa still will have the gloves. Smriti, as usual, started off, I think from the World Cup, Snehashish and I have been repeatedly talking about Smriti's routine. Smriti starts off taking a bit of throwdown, and then she moves on to the nets. She was batting very well in the nets, but in the offside, anything on the offside, she was handling really well. Anything a bit, even if she got a bit of room, she was playing superbly, and she had quite a few sixes, you can say, here. But she was getting into trouble the moment the ball was towards her pads. It was angling in. She was trying a number of times to hit the ball, use her wrists or sweep the ball. But unfortunately, that line and length was nagging her a little. The sort of good length, where you're kind of forced to come to the front foot, where you're kind of confused rather. Should you come to the front foot or should you not come to the front foot? And towards her leg. We all know that that's one line that Smriti actually has a bit of problem in facing, and you can see that was bothering her in the nets. But Overall, I think Smriti batted really well. Looked in very good touch. Then at the other end, that is, after facing two sets, they were changing. It was Bharti who was batting alongside Smriti, and Bharti Fulmali was all ready to injure someone in the crowd of people who had gathered. On a more serious note, I think Bharti was on a song first. At least the first two sets, she was absolutely hitting them clean. I think she hit one of them out of the park even. But the problem is inconsistency. Bharti in the first two rounds looked so good, hitting every single ball out of the park almost, hitting them into the stands. But come the next two sets, she again started, missing some, hitting some, not getting, not reading the line and length well. So that is a bit of a problem with the Indian batters, and that showed in the nets. Then came in Shafali. Shafali, we first started with the middle bat, and she did a middling drill for some time, taking throwdowns and trying to middle the straight drive and the cover drive. The other one was Deepti Sharma. Deepti, in fact, did an interesting drill about which I will talk a little more in details in another video. Do watch that video. Deepti actually is trying a different kind of a footwork against pacers. So that's very interesting. That I'm guessing for T20I specifically, she's trying a different footwork for pacers and a different one for spinners, and that is what she was doing at the ground today. On the other hand, Nandini Sharma and Sri Charni was the first one who padded up, and that has been the case. I think now it has probably become a ritual or a superstition even. In every practice session, N Sri Charni actually comes out. Padded up would be the wrong thing to say. N Sri Charni actually comes up with her pad and bat and gloves way before even Smriti Mandana does. The other thing, Captain Kaur was here, of course. Harmanpreet Kaur did not look completely fit. Yes, you heard me right. She did not look completely fit. I think there is a case of a stiff calf muscle. She was stretching. She was working, working with the trainer. She had taping as well towards the end. If you can see, when she is walking right behind, you will see that there is the tape on her cuff. There is a bit of a problem in her right cuff muscle, but she did bat. So that way it's fine whether she plays the first T20I or not. I think that's not a doubt. I'm sure she'll play. But yes, the interesting part would be, after batting, does she come out to field? Because she is struggling with her cuff, at least today. There's practice tomorrow. We can maybe it will be better. Can inform it to you guys tomorrow itself. As of now, that's it. Towards the end, there was high catching. That's about it. And there was a lot of today mostly the catchings were with the tennis ball. Munish Bali was asking everyone to try and take one-handed catches, be it high catches, be it the periscopic ones or the straight ones. So that's about it. I thought a fruitful day at the practice, and bringing you all the updates of the practice session, about the match, about the series, and about the World Cup. Well, Revsportz is here in England. The coverage has begun. You guys do need to get on the train and start following Revsportz. If you already don't, then like, share, and subscribe so that we get some support and we can be back with more.